Free Japan Channel number 102. Today, September 12th, Friday. The time is 8 p.m. So Friday evening. Hello everyone. How are you doing Friday night? In Yokohama, night view is marvelous as usual. And today, it was very clear here in Yokohama. Now, the night sky is covered with cloud, but in the daytime, the sky was clear and serene. Autumn has come here in Yokohama. How about you? How about your place? Today, FGC topic is Prime Minister Ishiba resigned. This is a topic of tonight. Prime Minister Ishiba resigns. The present tense is better than past tense. So, resigns. Here, this is a big news in Japan, but Prime Minister Ishiba could not show his political presence in the international place, international meeting, international summit. Therefore, this is not a big news in the worldwide. Mr. Ishiba was in the position of Prime Minister for about 1 year. But for this year, for 1 year, he could not show off his expertise, his political skill, his objective, his perspective. No, none of them was possible in Ishiba cabinet, unfortunately. Mr. Ishiba was defense minister several times and agricultural minister also. Therefore, his political career was enough to become a prime minister here in Japan. And he was rumored to be a next prime minister so often here in Japan. However, it was 2010 or 2012 or so. However, Mr. Ishiba became president of LDP and prime minister of Japan in 2024. Too late for him. It was too late for him. His political peak was already gone. His political peak was 2010 or 2012, as I said. At that time, he was still young, vigorous, and he could have managed Japanese government, Japanese administration more effectively, more confidently. Nevertheless, this time, 2024 and 2025, Mr. Ishiba could do nothing virtually to show his policy or his perspective in the political arena. From 2024 to 2025 until now, there were three big elections. One was last year, lower house election. Second was Tokyo Metropolitan members election this year. Third, upper house election in July. In these three elections, Prime Minister Ishiba lost the game lost the election. So LDP lost a seat in the Japanese Diet. Japanese political system is cabinet system. Therefore, citizens do not elect the top leader of Japan directly as a president. No. Citizens elect the parliament members, so diet members in their district, and these representatives, diet members, choose the Prime Minister of Japan. Therefore, voters elect Prime Minister indirectly, not directly, as in the United States. Prime Minister can be powerful only when his background, so his supporting party, this time LDP, was popular enough, big enough to support him powerfully. But the background itself, LDP lost its hegemony in Japanese politics. Therefore, we cannot condemn Mr. Ishiba himself alone, but also other LDP members were also to be blamed for this decline of LDP. Not only Mr. Ishiba, but also other LDP members, LDP leaders, also responsible for this downfall of LDP. Next month, the election for the president of LDP will be held. This is already decided. This election doesn't concern every citizen. So only the members of LDP, the only members of LDP can vote, can participate for this election, for the election of the president of LDP. And of course, diet members of LDP have also their own vote in the election. Now, Mr. Koizumi, Shinjiro Koizumi, and Mrs. Sanae Takaichi, these two members, these two candidates are said to be leading the race for the next Prime Minister. Mrs. Takaichi is famous for her conservative perspective, conservative remarks. But she doesn't have any substantial faction in the LDP. Therefore, she doesn't have any solid ground to support her. This is the weakest point of Mrs. Takaichi. On the other hand, Shinjiro Koizumi, his father was former Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi. Therefore, he is the son of former Prime Minister. This Junichiro Koizumi, Mr. Junichiro Koizumi, was in the position of Prime Minister. It was from 2001 to 2006 for 5 years. 5 years is very long for Japanese Prime Minister. Perhaps, in average, it may be 2 years or so that Prime Minister of Japan can stay its position. Shinjiro Koizumi has familiar background and of course political background. He was already in the position of ecology minister as well as agriculture minister. He's still in his 40s, therefore very young for Japanese prime minister. But Koizumi himself has always been saying that this emergency of Japan, this emergency of LDP should be solved or can be solved only by young leader. So, Koizumi himself. Autumn is the election time for Japanese people this year. But unexpectedly, because almost nobody thought that Prime Minister Ishiba resigns in September, so this month. Everybody knew that he was unpopular. However, not in September, not in October, perhaps at the end of this year, maybe the resignation of Mr. Ishiba. So everybody was thinking that way. However, Mr. Ishiba bowed out, and next election will be held in October, and next prime minister is decided. FCC is a channel for Japanese conservative. Therefore, personally speaking, I'm endorsing Mrs. Takaichi, of course. But I'm not a member of LDP, therefore I have no right to vote. Therefore, I can only wait for the result of the election. If the result comes out, so election for next president of LDP comes out, the result will be discussed in FCC again. Thank you.